Alright, so we're moving on in our workbook, and now let's turn over to page 45. Alright, so page 45, we'll start with number 3. Write sentences about Annette. Use the present perfect tense with recently. So we're going to use the present perfect tense with just recently. Alright, so let's look at Annette's goals for November. Okay, she wrote down a list of excuse me, a list of goals for November, things she wants to do or accomplish in November. So the first one is check blood pressure. Number 2 is go to the gym. Number 3 is eat more fruits and vegetables. Number 4 is sleep 8 hours a day. And number 5 is take vitamins. Alright, so now we're going to take this list and we're going to use the present perfect tense with recently. So the first one is done for us. Annette hasn't, so negative, has not checked her blood pressure recently. Okay, so she hasn't. So there are checks by go to the gym, so she's done that. Eat more fruits and vegetables, she's done that. Sleep 8 hours a day, she's done that. But she has not done, number 1, check blood pressure, and she has not done, number 5, take vitamins. Alright, so now it's on us to finish number 2 through 5. Okay, so let's pause the video, take some time, and write down the sentences just like in number 1 using the present perfect tense with recently. Alright, so let's pause the video and let's do that now, and then when we come back we will go over the answers together. Alright, let's do that. Okay, so hopefully you've had some time to answer these questions. So let's go over 2 through 5. Alright, so the first one of course is done for us. On the list, on Annette's list goals for November list, number 1 is check blood pressure, and it's not checked. So they wrote down Annette hasn't or has not checked her blood pressure recently. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Go to the gym. That is checked. Excuse me, that is checked. Alright, so I wrote down Annette has gone to the gym recently. Okay, Annette has gone to the gym recently. Number 3 is on her list is eat more fruits and vegetables, and that's checked, so she's done that. So I wrote down Annette has eaten fruits and vegetables recently. Annette has eaten fruits and vegetables recently. You could also say Annette has eaten more fruits and vegetables recently. Okay, you can say both of those. Number 4, sleep 8 hours a day, and that's checked, so she's done that. Alright, so I wrote down Annette has slept, right, slept 8 hours a day recently. Okay, Annette has slept 8 hours a day recently. Okay, and the last one is take vitamins, and that's not checked, so she hasn't done that, right? So I wrote down Annette hasn't taken her vitamins recently. You can also say Annette hasn't taken vitamins recently, right? But when I say her vitamins, I just make it possessive. It belongs to her, right? Like that's the difference between saying I have taken my car to the store or I have taken the car to the store. Alright? So I'm just showing that it's possessive, it belongs to her, the vitamins belong to her. Okay? So these are my answers, and hopefully you got something very similar. All right, so let's move on. Number 4, write questions and answers. Excuse me. Use the present perfect. Okay, so they give us some words and phrases here, and we have to we have to write a question, and then we have to answer it using the present perfect tense. Okay, so the first example is done for us. They give us the words Bill, the phrase lose weight, and the word recently. And they've asked the question, using these, they've asked the question, has Bill lost weight recently? Okay? And then the answer is going to be negative. All right? I'm going to make this answer very simple, okay? And keep it present perfect tense. So I'm going to say, no, he hasn't. So the question is, has Bill lost weight recently? Excuse me. And the answer will be, no, he hasn't. All right? So let's take some time and to go through 2 through 5. Let's pause the video and let's work on these, and we'll come back and I'll share my answers with you. And hopefully we got the same thing. All right? So let's pause now and work on these, and then we'll come back. All right, so let's complete 2 through 5 together. All right. So number 2, they give us Tina and Mario. They give us the phrase give up desserts, and then the word recently. All right. So I've got to put this in a question using the present perfect tense. So I wrote down, have Tina and Mario given up desserts recently? Have Tina and Mario given up desserts recently? And it's going to be a positive, right? So I'd say yes, they have. Yes, they have. All right. Number 3 is they give us the words you, the phrase check your blood pressure, and then the word lately. And we have to ask a question, right? So the question I asked was, have you checked your blood pressure lately? Have you checked your blood pressure lately? And the answer is going to be negative. It's going to be no. So I wrote down no, I haven't, or no, I have not. All right. Number 4, they give us the words Barbara, the phrase sleep much, and then the word lately. And my present perfect question is going to be, has Barbara slept much lately? Has Barbara slept much lately? And the answer is going to be a positive. All right, so I would say yes, she has. Yes, she has. Okay, number 5. Number 5, they give us Lisa, the phrase start taking vitamins, and then the last word is recently. So my present perfect question is, has Lisa started taking vitamins recently? Has Lisa started taking vitamins recently? And the answer is going to be negative. Okay, so my answer in present perfect is no, she hasn't, or no, she has not. All right. So these are my answers, and hopefully you got the same answers as well. All right. So if you have any questions about that, about this whole present perfect and using recently, let me know. You can email me or we can talk in our WhatsApp classroom, or of course we can have a discussion on Zoom. Alright, so let's move on to lesson C. Alright, so ESL Ventures Level 3. Alright, we are reviewing Unit 4 and we are on lesson C. Alright, so let's look in our student book here on page 48 to find out what we're going to be talking about. Alright, so page 48 in our student book, we are going to be talking about how to use used to. Okay, used to. Let's look at this here. Grammar focus, statements and questions. Use used to talk about a past situation or a past habit that is not true now. Okay? Use didn't used to talk about a situation or habit that is true now but wasn't true in the past. So it's the opposite, right? So, for instance, I got my license, right, when I was 16, all right? When I was 17, right, that's a past situation, right? So I could say, I used to walk to school when I was 15 years old, all right? So that's how we use used to, all right? I didn't used to drive when I was 15, but now I do, right? So that's how we use didn't used to. So let's look at the statements and questions in the examples that they give, all right? So let's go through the first line here. A statement is, I used to eat a lot of fatty foods. Okay. The question, yes or no question, would be, did you used to eat a lot of fatty foods? So notice here, when we're asking a question, we drop the D in the use, right? So now it's just, did you used to eat a lot of fatty foods? And that's a question. All right. And then, of course, our short answer, real short answer is yes. Middle short answer is yes, I did. All right. And then our long answer would be yes, I used to. The long answer would be I used to eat a lot of fatty foods. Okay. Another statement. She didn't or did not used to go to bed late. The question, yes or no question, question would be, did she used to go to bed late? Short answer is, or middle short answer would be, no, she didn't. All right. So let's look at this. When we have the statement that's a negative, right, we don't use used to, we use used to. She didn't used to go to bed late. All right. Then of course here, when we're asking a question, we use used to again. Okay. Did she used to go to bed late? All right. So let's look at the last one in our statements. They used to exercise every day. Okay. Notice we use used to. All right. This is a positive statement. Yes or no questions. Did they used to exercise every day? All right. So we're asking a question, so we use used to all the time. Okay. Short answers. Yes, they did. Short middle answers. Yes, they did. All right. You can also scan this barcode and watch a short video about this grammar focus, the statements and questions used to, and used to. Okay? Let's move on. Page 46 in our workbook. Okay? So now we're going to be looking at number 1. And for further information, you can use the study chart and explanation on page 129 in our workbook. Okay? So here, number 1, we have to circle use or used. Okay? So either we're going to use used to or used to. All right? And the first one is done for us. Did Angie used to have high blood pressure? Did Angie used to have high blood pressure? Notice we're asking a question, so we use use. Okay? All right. So now let's take some time. We can use what we've learned here. All right. On page 48 of our student book, we can use that to answer 2 through 6. All right. So let's take some time to pause our video and do 2 through 6, and then I'll come back and share the answers that I used. Okay. Yeah, the answers that I used to answer this question. All right. So let's do that now. All right. So hopefully you had some time to answer these questions. So let's go through them together. All right. Number 2, they either use or used to drink a lot of coffee. All right. So for this one, it's a statement and it's positive. So I say they used to drink a lot of coffee. Number 3, Tia and Arturo either used or used to go to the gym every weekend. So this again is a positive statement. So I said Tia and Arturo used to go to the gym every weekend. Number 4, did Wesley either use or used to drive to work? Okay, so this is a question now, right? So for questions, I say, did Wesley use to drive to work? All right. Number 5, we either use or used to eat hamburgers and fries. All right. So again, this is a positive statement. So I would say we used to eat hamburgers and fries. All right. And then number 6, did you either use or used to feel tired all the time? So this is a question. So I would use the word use. Did you used to feel tired all the time? All right. So those are my answers, and hopefully you got the same. All right. If not, let's take some time to look back on in our student book, so that we can page 48 in our student book, so we can really understand the difference between used and used to. All right. Let's move on. Number 2, complete the sentences. Use used to or used to. So the first one is done for us. When I was a teenager, comma, I used to play soccer. Okay, positive statement, used to. So now let's pause the video and complete 2 through 6, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what I wrote for my answers. All right, and hopefully we'll match up. So let's pause the video now and let's do that. Okay, so hopefully you had enough time to complete 2 through 6. So let's take a look at these together. Number 2, did you blank exercise a lot when you were young? So this is a question, right? So I would use use. Used to. Did you used to exercise a lot when you were young? All right. Number 3. In my country, comma, I blank eat rice every day. All right, so this is a positive statement. So I would say, in my country, I used to eat rice every day. Number 4. When I was a child, comma, I blank drink milk every morning. Okay, so this again is a positive statement. So I would say, when I was a child, I used to drink milk every morning. Okay, number 5. Did you blank watch TV when you were a child? So this is a question. Okay, so I'm going to use used to. Did you used to watch TV when you were a child? And then number 6. I blank get up late every day, but now I get up early. This is a positive statement. Okay, so I would say used. I used to get up late every day, but now I get up early. All right. All right, so these are my answers. And hopefully you got the same. All right. So let's move on to number 3.